From Cappy's cards. Cappy is hiding over here, or he was. Where'd he go? He went across the room. Of course, I caught him in feeding time right as I was starting this, so hopefully he comes over here and joins us pretty soon. So, thank you all for joining my little impromptu live stream here. I've been wanting to go live, and I got a good reason to do so here as I visited the antique mall nearby the other day and was able to grab this rather large box that you see here of baseball cards. Oh, this sucker's heavy. And of course, I've opened these a couple times before here on the channel, and they usually have some kind of, like mixed of sets, right? Incomplete sets, sometimes complete sets. Sometimes they're just random commons. Sometimes they're just, a whole bunch of random stuff, right? Mostly they're from older eras, right? Sometimes the junk wax era in the 80s and stuff like that. I have got modern stuff out of these before too. Speaking of which, while we're playing around here and while we have time, I did grab one of these just for fun, right? So we can open up one of these. And then this box is from eBay. Now, this box is all cards from about 15 to 20 years ago, which when I buy a lot of these lots and stuff like that to make my Etsy packs, I don't get a lot of cards from that 2005 to 2000, say like 17 or 18 kind of time period for whatever reason. So this one kind of hopefully fills in that gap to whatever degree. And the one thing I will say about this, if you watched the video the other day where I opened the box of football cards and I said that one doesn't feel very heavy, this box is definitely heavier than that box, even though this is a smaller box. So to say enough about that football card box. But let's see what's in here, and hopefully Cappy will decide to come join us. He's hiding over there on the other side of the room. If you can kind of see him over there by the sofa on the floor. So, I guess that tells you what you need to know about these boxes here. So let's check this out. Hope everybody had a fun Easter. Easter Bunny got you some chocolate and stuff like that. I have been trying to avoid it, but, can't do it when this is going on. So, what's going on, Matthew? How you doing there? Hope you had a good Easter. Cappy has been having fun today, of course. He got some treats, too. And, ooh, this is different. There's actually some, you can see in there, 9-card sleeves this time. Looks like some 89 Donruss. Is that a Cubs team set? Or, I don't think 89 Donruss was like Fleer. They weren't in order, right? I don't remember that. So let me pull my computer a little closer, too, so I can actually read comments as they come in. And remember, as always, like, etc., right? That'll beat the algorithm in that fashion. So what's this to start? It's dusty, whatever it is. But it's some kind of pinnacle. It almost feels like a medallion. No, I kind of expected, like, some random jewel or something in there almost, right? But it's definitely been in a closet or something for a while, whatever this is. They are very curled, as you can see. Heritage High number. There you go. You got a Skeens, very nice, right? Always want to see that. So what's up, Ben? How you doing? These are, I can honestly say, Star Flicks. I've never seen this before. Has anybody ever had this sort of pinnacle, like, like I said, you almost put a medal or a watch or something in this kind of box, but instead we get some very curled, like, cards that are sort of like Sport Flicks. Never seen it. So John Hudeck. There's Manny Ramirez. So if we're going to find something like that. I remember the Jeffrey Hammonds hype growing up outside of Baltimore there when he was drafted by the Orioles. How about Delgado? It's a pretty good set for that time period. Javi Lopez, Alex Gonzalez, Raul Mondesi. Bob Hanlon was a Rookie of the Year. Klesko, Brian Anderson. How about A-Rod? Okay. New Zealand, we get nothing here. Ooh, okay. Cliff Floyd. I was in New Zealand actually at this time, 1994. I went on a class trip to New Zealand. We went to Auckland. Rondell White, Sean Green, Rich Becker, and Charles Johnson. So is this like in order too? 18, so yeah, this might be the whole set. Might want to put A-Rod back in this and maybe sell it that way. What number was the A-Rod? 11. Yeah, 13, 12. Oh, yeah, so let's put A-Rod back in here. That is a nice A-Rod. I was 14 in 1994, so not too much younger there. You're in Auckland? Oh, very nice. So, yeah, I'm gonna put these back in this. I might not mix those into. I might have to look those up. I mean, I don't expect them to be worth much, but I honestly never seen anything like that before. In all the years of card collecting, I've never seen cards come out of something that looks like you put something like that in. So let's put that right here. It's kind of still on camera. So this one is mostly full, I would say. And this looks like a mix of, just off the top, 89 tops. You can see over here. This is 88 Fleer, and this looks like 90 tops. Yeah, it's got the Nolan Ryan on the front. So I'll grab a couple out of here. I don't think we want to look through all of it, because you can tell that's all 90 tops. So Nolan Ryans. Oops. I'm used to the camera being down here, not up here. Nolan Ryans. So is it the set? Looks like most of the set, probably, right? It's not obviously going to be the whole thing or take the whole box. So, had a cyclone the last few days. I haven't paid attention to the weather down there. I've been watching the weather around here. Had some tornadoes and stuff. Be cool if you found a Frank, no name in this. I doubt it. This guy knows what he's doing, right? Like I said, I've bought from this guy probably in the 5 years I've been doing this on Etsy and everything. I go in this antique mall probably, I'd say 8 times a year, not quite once a month, right? And he's got a whole, booth, obviously. And, he's got some, sleeved cards and slabbed cards and stuff like that you can buy. So he's a seller. He knows what he's doing. Intense. How high was the wind? I haven't been in what we call hurricanes here on stateside, right? Last one I was in was Sandy. So it's back when I was in Jersey and my power was out for 9 days. I lived 10, 12 miles inland, something like that. So it's George Brett's 90 card. So now you got me thinking, right? Should we just kind of flip through these quick to see if there's a Frank Thomas in here? I would be shocked if there's a Frank Thomas 90. It's a pretty good one. Category 2 is what we would call it around here. So you start talking disasters and stuff like that to me, you're talking about my other life, right? Because that's what I study, emergency management, disaster research, stuff like that. So, who we got here? Terry, Samuel. Just flipping through this quick. What number was that's the one you're looking for in the packs before, right? Because Schilling was right before Thomas in a lot of the packs in the collation. But what number is Frank Thomas? Is it like 350 or something like that? Because these are still pretty much in order. And I haven't looked through. We haven't looked at 122 cards. So you can tell there are some cards out of the set in some degree, even though there were some stars and Hall of Famers still there. Ooh, checklist. Does that have the White Sox on it? That would help me. Yes, it does. Frank Thomas is, of course, cut off at the bottom of the checklist. Oh, Magadan, Andre Dawson. I'm going to go real quick. We're going to be here all night while I'm flipping through these, dreaming that I'm going to find a miracle card, even though we've already found something that, hell, I didn't know existed. So let's just do this. Look for the W. How about that? Looking for a W. The other thing I'll say about these feel like they just came out of a factory set. So I doubt, because they are very crisp. And look how easy they slide, right? If you know these 90 tops cards, they're always kind of gritty. There's Barry Bonds. But, so I am highly doubting we're going to find Frank Thomas here at all, let alone. How about the Ken Griffey Jr.? What number is his card? You know, with the... A lot of people put that Ken Griffey Jr. card up on... Okay, there it is. Frank Thomas is 414. And we are at 263. So, okay, let's cheat. Let's see if we get... It's about the 320s. This is gonna cut off before we get to that. There's Palmeiras rookie, randomly. 414. He is not there. See? All right, we tried. So no sense in looking through the rest of them since they were in order. So we get a random 87 of Palmeiro. Kappi, you're still just sitting over there, buddy. Get a random rubber band. Let's get that away from the floor where Kappi could find it. These feel like they are out of a pack. Glenn Davis, Matt Noakes, Fred McGriff. It's got to be early in his career. Keith Hernandez. It's the O's brothers. The wrong year for Billy Ripken, right? 1 year later is where we want Billy. Yeah, you can see some 89s here from Topps. Look like they're, again, team sets. But it's weird that the Fleer ones aren't. Like I said, unless they're just straight out of packs, because these would have been... The other thing was a set, then... I don't know, maybe the set wouldn't be, printed like that. Griffey was in Topps traded in 89, yeah. Yeah, the 91's got the scab on it that people sell it like it's an error card, even though it's not really an error card. So a lot of A's. Eckersley. More A's. How about some Padres? But these are like super fresh. Robbie Alomar. Croc. I'm going to lower the camera down a little bit just because there's Tony Gwynn. Because Kappi is not coming over here. He's standing up, though. At one random 87. So let's put this elf to the side. So he's still sitting over there across the room. Do you see him? Over there. Sometimes he just knows. He's been a little worried the last couple of days, right? Having the storms come through. Oh, my God. All the 90 Donruss you could ever want. So here is the 90 Donruss test, right, for, was it in order? Probably, and they just pulled out some players, right? But, for 90 Donruss, is the period there after INC? Oh, my God, we're not internet rich. So all of that is 90 Donruss. We're going to leave the 90 Donruss in there. I'm not going to search for the Juan Gonzalez. It's probably no point, right, for the reverse negative. But lots of 90 Donruss to mix into stuff. So I'm guessing then this is going to be either the full set of 90 Fleer or close to it. It's going to be the full set because it's still sealed. So we'll leave that sealed, right? 90 Fleer. I know there's a couple errors, maybe. I don't know if they got to the factory set level, though. Like some printing errors and stuff like that. So we'll leave that in there. Which one is this? Here is this 89 Donruss? Yeah, it's 89. You can tell from the top there, from the design. So this looks like the full factory set, too. This would have a Griffey Jr. rookie in it. So doesn't look like any of them are broken, and this would have been the puzzle that came with it, right? So there should be a Griffey. Oh, no, wait, look. One of them's open. That's going to be the one with the Griffey, I bet. Because it's got the, Diamond Kings in it. So watch. Whatever the number's missing, I bet is Griffey's. 28, 29, 30. So 30 is 31 Griffey. Everybody wants to look that up over there on the old Googles for me real quick. 33 is missing, too. Whoever that is. 42. So he pulled a couple of rookies that mattered from this set. Do I have the... Oh, I have the checklist. No, that's the Diamond King checklist. So Oh well. Not surprising, right? I mean, this whole box. That's the funny thing too. I forgot to mention that too. This whole box was $30, and so was that box off eBay. So let's see what we get here. We've got 9 card sleeves. They're only facing one direction. Looks like we got a bunch of Cubs. So we got some 89 Cubs here. No Ryan Sandberg. We do have Gossage, right? It's a Hall of Famer. No Andre Dawson there. How about some 87 Fleer Cubs? Gary Matthews, Jamie Moyer. Again, still only on one side. It's a good thing these things aren't sticking, too, because they are some off-brand MVP 9T from Chesterfield, Indiana. So, I've been watching you live for months. Thanks. I definitely appreciate that. So, definitely appreciate everybody's been watching. I should do more live streams, shouldn't I? Maybe open up some of those things that I buy in different places. Some more 89 tops here. How about some 89 Upper Deck? There's Andre Dawson finally and Mark Grace. Still no Sandbergs in this, though. Some more 90 tops. There's only 3 cards on that one. Some more 90s here. Don Zimmer. Come on, Kappi. Kappi, buddy. Got a big box for you. Come here. He's sniffing around on the couch. I'll walk over and get him here in a minute. We get the Andre Dawson and Mark Grace again in this. Palmero. The 88 Fleer, 89 Fleer, right? There's Greg Maddux. Finally, that's the first one of his I've seen in any of these. Back to 89 Upper Deck. So lots of Cubs. Cubs are usually a good seller in the shop. Got Jerome Walton's rookie. That was all the rage, of course, back in 1990. Oh boy. We finally get a Sandberg. Now it's in the next sleeve, but it's 91 Fleer. Everybody guard your eyes. It's Mark Grace again up here. Asamacher, Sean Dunston, Joe Girardi. Back to 89 Upper Deck. And there's Mark Grace, Andre Dawson from 89, Donruss. So these ones are actually two-sided, looks like. This is 95 Pinnacle, Bobby Bowe. Right, still getting paid from the Mets. Eric Karros, it's got to be early in his career. It's probably second or third year. And there's that Jeffrey Hammonds again. Fred McGriff. Mike Mussina. It's probably third-ish year Mike Mussina. And the wrong Ortiz as a Red Sox. Oh, what we got over here? Todd Hundley. Chris Hoyle's up here, right? It's the land of forgotten catchers. Is that Sandy Alomar getting run over? Interesting picture. And Greenwell. Is that Lance Johnson? Ruben Sierra's an A. Joe Carter over here. Is that Ryan Thompson? One of the weirdest players to ever get a starting lineup. As a collector of them, right? Lee Smith is an Oriole. He's a Hall of Famer. So Bobby Jones. That's actually like PC Bobby Jones. So that one's coming out. We're going to set that one aside. What's up, Shaka? What's up, Turtle? I think I said hi to you before. Sorry, I've got to lean over to read the stuff there on the screen. Sheffield, Ben McDonald. Ben McDonald's not a bad commentator if you watch the Orioles. He's got that Cajun draw, right? Cajun draw and then the Baltimore accent. If you're familiar with the Baltimore accent, you know what it is. Kurt Schilling over here. Let's see, John Olerud. David Need, remember he was all the rage there for 5 minutes since he was the first Rocky draft pick. Sid Fernandez as an Oriole. And Mark Portugal batting for some reason. Charlie Hayes with the full face mask. He's going to play softball later. Uh, this one's only one-sided with nobody really. Klesko early in his career, but nobody else really of significance there. Got Mo Vaughn here. And lots of this 95 Pinnacle. So a lot of Cubs, a lot of 95 Pinnacle. One more here. Steve Avery had a couple of good seasons there when the Braves were really good. That's Cecil Fielder right here. And Kenny Lofton. So let's see what else is here. Is this? Oh, I got something here. A pack. Hey, we'll have to open this. $87 or Topps pack with a bow. How about that? We'll take that anytime. We're going to open that. We'll leave Bo right here for a minute. Are there any more in here? Was not expecting that at all. So he's got several kind of just random rack packs like that hanging up. This is an 89 Topps set that's open and curled. And not in order. So 89 Topps. We'll save ourselves from looking through all of that there. That's all going to be 89 Topps. And this says 90 score. So 1990 score. Looks like what's in here. Doesn't look like there's any of the white cards, though, with the bow. Right? So the blue, the red, and the green sections. But not the back cards where the rookies were or the Bo Jackson, you know, the two-sport Bo Jackson card. All right, let's open this. Then I'm going to go see what Kappi, grab him. Oh, boy, 88 Topps. Full set. So not surprising, right, to get stuff like this. Like I said, I've got from him before. This is about the normal. I was hoping to get, like I said before, I've got some, you know, like a box or two out of it that usually would have some, you know, 23s and stuff like that in it, or 21s or whatever. But this is fine, right? I need this kind of stuff to mix into the packs too, because Lord knows I open enough of the other modern stuff here on the channel, don't I? We're going to do some more here in a minute anyway. This is really cool, though. This was probably the coolest find. If you were just joining us and you know what these are, right, please let us know, because I have literally never seen these before. Right, and it is the full set of whatever this is. It's got an A-Rod in it. It's got a couple other players as well. So talk to us down in the comments and let us know if you know what those are. I'll open this up in a minute here. Let me grab Kappi. Yeah, I know. You were laying down. Here you go, buddy. You gonna say hi? Huh? Let's move Bobby Jones here. You want to say hi? You want to sit here while I open this? Huh? Let's face it, he's the star around here. I'm just, you know, the ancillary player, right? Oh, let's open this rack pack. And it's a nice Bo Jackson. It's a little off center, like most of them are, but still, 87 Topps rack pack. This takes me back to being 7 years old and going to Giant Food with my mom, right, and begging her to buy me one of these for like $1 or whatever they were, right, at the time. So Henderson's All-Star card, right? I had to get the whole set of those, right, as a kid, along with the whole set of these, because that's what we did. Here's Kappi now. You gonna stay here, buddy? That's a good boy. Meow, meow, meow. Yeah, you know the packs are, you know there's plastic here to chew on. That's what it is. Yeah, that one's got no cards in it. Go nuts. Greg Gagne, Bill Duran, there he goes. Mercado, Darrell Evans, Hubie Brooks, Mike Schmidt, Michael Jack Schmidt, Tommy Lasorda, Rick Russell, Claude L. Washington, Don Carmen, Stapleton, Sid Bream, Dave Anderson, Mookie, Don Baylor, and Jimmy Key. He's over here out of the way. Kappi, don't bite that card. I opened a whole box of these during the pandemic, right? It was fun to go back and do that again. Well, I opened so many of these old wax boxes, though, during the pandemic. I was so bored sitting here. And I was a new dad, right? So I was up a lot of different hours at that time because our daughter was, you know, an infant, right, when it all started. So, yeah. Fernando Valenzuela, the late Fernando. The Mets leaders card with Gary Carter and Darryl Strawberry, Lance Parrish, and Rich Yet. All right, let's get the bow out of this sleeve here. Another Mike Schmidt in there. The leader's Mike Schmidt hiding in the back, but we'll leave Bo right here. Right, that's a nice, if you want a nice look at it. It's nice and crisp, but that's always a fun card. I come across these a lot, right? So I always mix these into the Royals packs whenever I do them, so that'll get mixed in with those. Expos, Tony Walker's, Don Mattingly's All-Star card, Kirby Puckett's All-Star card. I remember getting a box once, had like 50 of them in. George Frazier, Atherton, boy, it's a Twins run. Phillies, Terry Poole, Dave Henderson, Searage, Bobby Witt Sr., Tony La Russa, the White Sox, and there's the Mike Schmidt All-Star card. So nice find there with the rack pack too. So lots of fun junk wax for me to sit here and go through and do whatever. What is this? I just noticed this on the box. Indie Sports Connection Sports Collectibles. So I guess that's where I could have looked at that and seen 88 Topps. But probably shouldn't show an old phone number, stuff like that, because I doubt that is still there. You know, wherever that is. So ignore all of that. Let me find, what do I do with my knife? Cap, you want to open this Heritage box? So welcome to everybody else coming in. Just seeing what else we're finding here. If you're looking for Heritage High number, by the way, I will say this. Check out, I almost stabbed myself. Okay, I didn't. But check out your local Walgreens. If you have one, they are popping up. I've been to a couple of Walgreens now in different places. They have popped up in mass on the shelves there. So if you're looking for this product, that is the place to go. The one I got this at today, you know, we went and did the Easter brunch thing, right? And this was right outside of it. And, oh, Kappi, you're just adorable, right? See, I knew you needed to come over here. Yeah. You got a nice box to lean on. But anyway, what I was saying, right, was, you know, this particular Walgreens is right outside there, and it had a whole bunch of them, like at least a dozen to go through and do. What's up, Dan? How you doing tonight? Hope you're having a fun Easter. And first pack, I got a relic. See it there? So let's do this. Oh, we got the numbered card too, don't we? Or that's a chrome at least. A non-numbered chrome. I'm not seeing a number. Is it hiding there? No, it's not. It's just a chrome. It's just a, or did I get a, does this mean I got a hot box that it's just a chrome? I'm not sure. Quinn Priester in the purple. What am I opening up? So I opened up, I just did a big box of randomness, right, that you see here that Kappi's laying on. Just a big box that I got of stuff from an antique mall, trying to figure out what this Pinnacle set is, if you know anything about old Pinnacle sets. And now I'm opening up, this is a Heritage High number blaster. And then we're going to do the eBay box that my computer's sitting on right here, right now. Chocolate Bunny, not so good. Yeah, I mean, it's so hard. I have been, you know, doctor's orders, cut sugar, and been trying to be good. And these friggin' holidays, I tell you what. Purple Chrome Hot Box, I think I did, right? That's a Vladdy in the green parallel. So let's see what this relic is. Another Clubhouse collection. So I've opened, this is the 5th box, I think, of these I've opened, and 3 of them I've had one of these Clubhouse collection relics. Is it Arenado again? Oh, no, it's Goldschmidt this time. So I've got, you know, Arenado was the last one I opened. If you watched the video I posted earlier today, right, it had a Nolan Arenado little napkin relic in it, but here is his former teammates, right, Paul Goldschmidt, and not numbered, but still, nice Goldschmidt. Cardinals got swept out of New York 4 today, so several old Pinnacles. Yeah, type 2, I get it, man. I'm trying not to join it. No offense, right? I mean, my dad had it and stuff like that and got them. I think you're right about the hot box. Yeah, there's another purple hiding in there, see? So I picked the right one off the Walgreens shelf. It's a thick jersey card. Yeah, they're all this thick. All the Clubhouse collections are thick out of this. So I might have, do I have the Arenado handy? I don't think I do. Montas, Sheaton, Rodriguez. Hey, we got the numbered one in here too to go with it. Where did I put the pile? I took it off camera over here. There we go. So we got the numbered one to 699, as you usually get out of these. If you can see it there, kind of shimmering in the light. That is 122 of 699 for Jake Cronenworth. Jeter jersey from '02 Tradition. Yeah, you were blessed. That's a nice find there. Lodolo. So yeah, I definitely got a hot box here because here's another purple, non-numbered, chrome card. So Nolan Shanuel, rookie. So let me slide these down, make a little room here, and we'll put all the purples together. Let's put this up here and do that. So we got Forrest Whitley, Soler, and Millas. So how cool would it be to find one of the rookies, right? Of course, you want Skeens probably, right? But any of the really big, I mean, that is a rookie, Shanuel. And so is Priester, for that matter, now that I'm looking at it. But, Austin Bo Jackson, that was a hell of a find. Did not expect that in that big box. Jose Siri, but any of those big ones in the, the parallel or anything like that. And I'm not looking. If I'm missing the picture parallel or the name flip or anything, yell at me in case I miss it. Birdie. Zach Little here looks like the green parallel, and I got a white behind it. Yeah, that's the green. And it's a high. Oh, I haven't checked for high numbers too, have I? But that is a high number to go with it. So the white is Frankie Montas. See the white border there, 507. Wanted to get some of the 3000 Hit Club cards from 2000 Fleer. Now, those I have not seen. I'm not familiar with them. Nick Castellanos in the purple. So nice Castellanos. Jerickson Profar, Tristan Gray, and Ozuna, Marcel Ozuna. So let me pull these back up here and see, did I hit any other high numbers here? Yeah, there's a Lodolo's a high number. I'm just going to set that there. By the way, somebody earlier said this to me in the comments of the video I posted earlier. Because I pulled out that video earlier, number 700 as a short print, and they said it doesn't start at 700, it starts at 701. I looked it up, and it said 701. The box says 700. So, I mean, not that it matters, right? Whoever 700 wasn't like a star or anything, but, I mean, one of them's right, one was wrong. I don't know. Doesn't matter. All right. Rosario? I don't remember Rosario in the Nationals, but apparently he was. Parker, J.D. Davis. I don't remember him on the Orioles either, but apparently he was. Rookie infielders here. Got a Jackson Holiday insert card. Set those down so I can look at the high number stuff. Jackson Holiday rookie, I guess it's supposed to say rookie performers or something like that. He's blocking. Jackson Holiday rookie insert. Rookie performers. So a nice insert card of a star you're looking for. It's probably a couple $1 card. Have to look that one up when we're done. Nathaniel Lowe, now on the Nationals, right? In the purple that we keep pulling. Heel, Ortiz, and Smith. 75 Prince, yeah. 76 should come out soon, right? The next wave of Heritage, right? The 2025 Heritage. They should be out the end of the month, I believe, or sometime early next month. And Bowman should either be right there with it or not far behind it, or in front of it, I don't know. But should be coming out around then. Kappi, do you know? I hit the box below and I startled him with the tripod. The empty box. Sorry, buddy. Jeffers, Royce Lewis, Blanco, Hicks, Barger, Moustakas. So we went from hitting rookies to hitting random players that's changed teams. Dylan Cease, Blazovic, and Josh Bell. Barger is the short print in this one. Barger. No other ones probably. 75 is Robin Yount. 76 George Brett. Oh, man, I'm honestly, I'm not sure. I'm so bad with years. Right, unless it's the ones that I collected when I was a kid, right? Which would have been late 80s, early 90s. I had a lot of 76s as a kid that my brother gave me, or I got them from somewhere. It can only have been from him, right? And I sold off a long time ago because they were really beat up. But 76 is the year it looks like there's like a fake player at the bottom, right? I mean, I can't remember. Does anybody know? Anybody want to help him out? Look who's hiding behind here, too. So Calabreo or Caballero is hiding Paul Skeens. Still wouldn't mind seeing him in a green, wouldn't we? But let's put him down. Let's move these out of the way. Just over here out of the way real quick. There we go. Skeens where we can still kind of see him. Let's straighten out since Kappi has moved a little bit. Doyle. It's not a high number, so I'm putting it over here since we got an aqua of Victor Scott. That's the other thing about these, right? Does that say aqua or does that say white above the thing there? I can't read it without my glasses. It's so small. But Kappi's taken off on us. So we'll put the aqua down here. Here is Nassim Nunez in the purple. Vines, Hader, Porter, Snell. That's 650. I don't know why I thought that said 850. There is no 850. 2 more packs out of this, and then we'll open that other eBay box. Yeah, the Big Red Machine World Series cards. I always love the grocery pack inserts. That's why I said, you know, just always yelling at my mom when we were grocery shopping. I wanted those so bad, right? You know, just like my daughter now, when we go, she always wants some Squishmallow, right? When we go shopping. Pitchers, Rodriguez. Here's our other green. It's Rengifo. So we'll put that down up here. Amaya is the purple chrome this time. Lorenzen is Wyatt Langford's rookie. Let's put him with Skeens over here. And Paulie and Phillips. So no high number in that one. One more pack, and then we'll open the eBay box and see what we got in there. And if we're still hanging out, I got some other old school packs we can open if we're still chilling. Connor Phillips. There's Vladdy in the base card, right, to go with his other card. I'm going to lower this down when I get done with this pack. Cropley, unless Kappi comes back. Glass now. Now and then it's Craig Kimbrell reaching a save. Nick Martinez. So we didn't get any of the big rookies in the purple, but, you know, beggars can't be choosers, right? At least we got a hot box in all of this. Ginkle, Montero, and we get Jackson Holiday's rookie too. So let's put Jackson Holiday over here with himself, right here. Any other high numbers? Negative. So fun box there, right? If they could all be, you know, hot boxes, they wouldn't be hot, but it's still a fun one to rip. So many inserts now, right? What is it they said about, I think, Otani or one of those type players, right? That he's got, I don't know, like 100 rookie cards or more than that, right? Just because there's so many inserts and, you know, so many 101s and all the other stuff like that, right? That it just adds up so much when if you're trying to rookie chase now, right? As opposed to, like, I mean, of course, that's the other side of it too, right? When I was a kid, that was Bo Jackson's rookie card, and it's not Bo Jackson's rookie card anymore, right? The 86 tops traded is. Kappi is going in his bed over there. So you can see on camera where I'm following to there on the computer. But yeah, Kobe rookie cards. I mean, any modern player like that's got that sort of stuff. There's just so many inserts and variants and numbered cards and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So you can see on here, right, if you can read that really small print, says bulk tops. Don't know what the numbers mean, but this is from, I mean, you can never tell on eBay, right? Everybody, even I've got a name that says something about cards, right? So let me pull this off here if it's got something that shouldn't be on this. Thanks for your purchase. 25% off when you order 2 cards, $5, under $5. All right, well, maybe we'll check that out. 25% off. That's a nice little deal. From infieldhits@gmail.com. Check that out. Thank you, Infield Hits, for the box and for all of this. Pop the bubble wrap. All right. There you go. ASMR freaks, have fun. Right? I'm keeping that bubble wrap too because I need some for when I'm shipping as well. Right? All right. So this is going to have stuff, like I said, from 15, 20 years ago or so. You can already see that there here on top. And I'm going to guess years, and they're going to be wrong constantly. I believe this is '08 tops. Hey, I was right. Let's see if we get some stars from back at that time period. All right. So Blum, Dobbs, Wilson, another Wilson, Hideki Matsui, Nixon. Trot Nixon as a Met. Boy, I don't remember that at all. Jay Payton as an Oriole, right? You remember him as a Met. There's Euclid, right? The Greek god of walks or whatever for Moneyball. So '09 tops is what that is. Let's see. This is Guthrie's at 11, 12, 11. All right, Jeremy Guthrie. No chance we find a Mike Trout in here. Mandela effect. Pretty much, right? Well, if I didn't remember Jay Payton as an Oriole, now I am. Morel, C.J. Wilson, Worth, Martinez, Price. It's got to be early in his career, right? David Price. Oh, it's a checklist card. Cabrera, John Buck, Morel, Young, Crow, Ibar, Dontrell Willis is a red. Speaking of that one, right? You know, not remembering a player on a team. Brown, get a random 07 thrown in here, right? 07s are always tricky, of course, being all black. Are they going to get nicked up and stuff? Because I don't like selling cards that are too beat up and everything. Lombardozzi rookie, Brandon Belt. It's got to be earning his career, too. It's not a rookie. It doesn't say rookie card on it, but, I mean, back in the day, we would think that's a rookie because he's only got 1 year of stuff, and he must have been in the previous year's set. Let's see. Just going to grab him like this. Dickerson, Gamble, and Johan Santana. More of that Jeff Blum guy, Martin Phillips, another Johan Fowler. I have a Johan PC, right? But I know I have that card. It looks familiar. Lopez, Hansen, Guzman, Swarzak. So, let's see here. Just going to grab at random. Easy enough. Butler, Hughes, Gomez. This is 14 tops? Yeah, wow. Wow, I'm doing good tonight. Sands, Barney, Caps, De Los Santos, Aoki, Elias, Burton, Alvion, a whole bunch of players we have long since forgot. Scott Carroll, rookie. Brian Roberts had a nice little career. Is he still on TV for the Birds? Anybody there local in Maryland or O's fans watch them? He did TV for them a little while. How old is Jim Palmer, too? He's still doing TV for them every once in a while. I don't think he does a lot of games, but Goldschmidt, 363. How's he been with the Yankees this year? I haven't followed that much over there. Of course, my Mets have been so hot. I haven't really, paid attention to too much else. Garrett Richards, rookie. Dallas Braden, he's still calling Sacramento A's games. Lots of, it's that time period, right, where they played, 15 years ago. They're calling games now. Dice K. Freddie Garcia. Deaza had a little bit of a career, right? And he could run. That's why he had a career. Marte. Logan Morrison. Jose Contreras is a Philly. I do remember him in the Phillies. Bruce Chen. Josh Beckett. He was on some of their World Series teams, right? And Homer Bailey there at the back. Hey, what's going on, Finney? Not sure if he's the 30 this year. He would be above average home run here. I mean, Goldschmidt's had a great career. Goldschmidt's, if he continues on the same trajectory, is he a modern Hall of Famer? I don't think so. Right? He's consistently a 300-ish hitter, right? You put him in the like you said, the 400 club. This is 13 tops. Yeah. I think he gets there. Now I have a Matt Harvey PC. I know that's controversial given the way that his career ended with the drug stuff and everything like that. I still have that because for those 2 or 3 years, right, that we dream about, and of course, Game 5 of the 2015 World Series, leaving them in 1 inning too long, right? Terry Collins. They got there in spite of Terry Collins, not because of Terry Collins. Pedro Alvarez. Inwood. Oh, it's not a rookie. I got fooled for a second there by the logo. Big Pelf as a twin. Swarzak. Yeah, still remember if you ever listened to or watched when he was on TV there for a little while, the Sports Pope, right? Mike Francesa with Javi as Javi Siva, right? What could have been for Matt Harvey, but a lot of pitchers like that, right? Jason Giambi as an Indian. Who remembers that? Speaking of Francesa, right? The famous and one of the infamous, prank calls was always about Giambi. A little bit of doubles in here, but that's fine because they're going to get spread out over packs anyway. I never put the same card in one pack. No 2 packs are ever alike. Debating doing a live stream as I make packs. I've never done that before. We'll see as I spread some cards out and stuff like that. Chris Young, another Met I don't remember. Played a long time for other teams, but not maybe very long for the Mets. Is this? Yeah, that's an update from that time period, so I guess that makes sense. Let's see. What year is this? I don't remember. 12? Nope, 10. 2010. Jay Bruce. Hanley Ramirez. DeWitt. Coughlin. Topps All-Star Rookie. They changed the cup that year and actually wrote on it. Rasmus. Tim Wakefield. Ramirez. Gonzalez. Saunders. Torres, Cordero, Terrio, Marquis. Was this all funny names? Tian, Robertson, finally. Meshi and Meshi. Good question. Steroids do I gotta make this closer so I can read it. Or can I zoom in on the chat? No, okay. Did the naughty guys get a section at Cooperstown? See, I'm the person that says let them all in, right? You didn't stop them when they were playing, so let them all in, right? I mean, watching McGuire and Sosa when I was in college, right? That was my sophomore year of college. That was appointment television for us, and none of us liked the Cardinals or the Cubs for that matter, right? We were at University of Delaware. I was a Mets fan. My roommates were Philly fans, I believe, at the time, or Orioles fans. So, let them in, right? Bonds, as much as I hate that Bonds has the record, right? He's such a jerk, but I'm in that category. I know a lot of you probably disagree, and I respect that, right? But, yeah. Expos fan. There's a lot of Expos fans around here. You from Montreal? Ryan Howard. Talk about having a great career. Looked like it was on a Hall of Fame trajectory until the last 2 or 3 years, right? Took him right off of that kind of discussion, right? The way he started to fall off there, and you can see it on the stats if you can read them, right? That's a Hall of Fame trajectory, and then it ended very badly. Yu Darvish's cup card. But then again, right? They're letting players like Ted Simmons in and stuff like that, Maybe the Veterans Committee in many years. Howard would be a player like they should consider in that sense. Although Ted Simmons was a compiler, right? And he's not a compiler. He had the big flash and then was struggling at the end. I passed by a Darvish cup card while I was talking about Ryan Howard. Todd Frazier had a cup card? I didn't realize that. Kenley Jansen. That's pretty early. Second year, Kenley Jansen. He's still hanging around. Barry Zito. Late in his career. always love when Moneyball comes on, right? And I always laugh about that movie. The one thing, and then just how it completely glosses over the A's pitching staff at the time. Right, Zito, Mulder, and Hudson. Right? You know, probably the best trio in the league at the time. um, I mean, arguably there was other ones. I mean, the Yankees had a great trio with Clemens and Pettit and shit. Who else back then? But it's Justin Morneau. He's another one. Compiler, can he get in? Not a first ballot type or anything like that. I mean, but one of those eventually types for the Hall of Fame. I don't think he did quite enough. Hall of Very Good. Jose Bautista. I mean, he's another one for the modern players, right? Do you consider him? He had several good years. Cameron there. Marlins. Doug Fister. Tim Wakefield. The late Tim Wakefield here on the back. The old knuckleballer. Passed away earlier this year. Maddox, Glavine, and Smoltz, right? Of course, that was earlier in, the decade, right? And this is 2001, 2002. You know what I'm talking about? Was that the year of the A's? It was 2001 or 2, where they had the 20 wins in a row, and that was the Moneyball team and all that kind of stuff. It is a great movie, right? I mean, I do enjoy watching it, but Dice K is a Met. Now, I remember that, but how many of you remember that, right? Unless you're a Mets fan like me at the time, right? Harrison, Frankie Rodriguez, Brian McCann, Andrew Heaney, rookie debut. Braves had a lot of amazing teams there, yeah, in the 90s. Just that one title, though. Quintanilla. Oops. Of course, running into the Phillies in 93. Running into the Yankees in the back half of the decade. The Padres that one year got them. Sat in there. Johnny Gomes. The Marlins, of course, picking them off, right? The one year. And then the Mets, right? I still remember the 99 NLCS when Kenny Rogers walked in the winning run. That I had one of those, crappy dorm chairs, right? They're like a metal chair, like a hard chair. And I had a recliner that didn't recline anymore. And I was using that as a footrest, and I kicked it so hard, the chair, when Kenny Rogers walked in the run, and it hit the door, that it bent the leg of the chair. Oh. Woke up whoever was probably around me at the time, because it was pretty late in the night. But, it was the dorms, who cares? LaRoche, Cruz, Chavez, Harang. Yeah, never forgave Kenny Rogers for that. Not that, he's ever going to know. Alan Craig, Dallas Keuchel, still hanging around on TV too, isn't he? Herman, David Price again. Cookie Carrasco. It's got to be pretty late in his career, right? No, it's not. It's older than I thought. Chase Utley, speaking of those good Phillies teams. Root Sports. Didn't Root Sports go bankrupt? Or was that... No, that was in the Bally's family, right? All of those sorts of things. Played golf that one time with Chris Denari here, who does local, the Pacers play-by-play, right? And I've been meaning to get, reach out to him again about playing, first of all. Right? He's fun to play with. But, asking him about that, because he was caught up in that, because that was one of those things that changed around here, too, right? It's not Bally Sports Indiana anymore. It's like FanDuel Sports or something. Yu Darvish here. Devin Mesoraco was an all-star. I wouldn't have bet that. Speaking again, I got the Moneyball, right? Like I said earlier, the Greek god of walks. It's Kevin Youkilis. That's where that's from. A lot of Brian Fuentes, a little bit of Manny Actas. Saltalamacchia, Brian Stokes for the Mets. Who else we got in here? They packed this really well. This is a perfect size box for this stuff. There's Fernando Tatis, Sr. Ugla, McPherson. Yeah, I like having these sorts of things, like I said before, for my mix packs, just because they're hard to find, right? I mean, usually, you know, it's either end, right, that you get. You get the stuff like we already opened over there, right? Or you get the modern stuff. You don't get this sort of time period. He told us you have to have a new system. I'm guessing $200-300 to watch. Can you just get the MLB TV stuff? Oh, would that get it? Because I mean, that's how I watch Mets games here, but I'm not local to the Mets, so I don't know how that would work. I mean, if you get that and you get the what do you call, like the Amazon Fire Stick or whatever, and you can maybe, you know, zap it over to your TV from your computer, something like that. Lots of pretty good shape 07s there. R.A. Dickey. That one Cy Young Award that he won. Another knuckleballer. I set that aside here for my PC. I got a very small R.A. Dickey PC. If you're finding this live stream, you never watched me before and stuff, I PC Mets cards, right, of players that, not John Buck, but, you know, players that I liked when the time, and I only PC them in Mets uniforms. That's my little shtick, right? There's one exception to that, and it's Gary Carter. Because he was my favorite player as a kid, even though I never played catcher, right, with very little exception. Every once in a, I think, you know, probably played catcher in Little League and Legion Ball and stuff like that. You can count him on my hand, right, how many times I played catcher. But he was my favorite player for those Mets teams back then. So let's see what else we got here. For calls, Sonny Gray, Den Decker, rookie. Neil Walker. Yeah, I'm not pronouncing that. Aoki, Parmalee, Ellis, De La Rosa, Anthony Rendon's Future Stars card. One hit wonder. Yeah, Gary Carter was. Yeah, he was a hell of a player. He's like, you know, at the time, right, in the late 70s, right, you know, arguably the second best catcher in the league behind Johnny Bench, right? Rendon, and then of course coming up through the 80s, he was the best. Yeah, the early 80s. Cespedes is a Red Sox? Well, I don't remember that. Okay. Tomlin. There's Morneau as a Rocky, right? We talked about him earlier. Frank Core. He played on a lot of teams going out, didn't he? Yu Darvish again. Fastest to reach 500 strikeouts. Yu Darvish. A few of those. Ike Davis, right? That Rocky Mounted spotted fever that he got as the Met. Took him out. Rene Rivera. Kappi is fast asleep over there in his little bed. The one time I have the bed over there, I left it over there as Odor's rookie. I mean, he had a little career. But Chris Sale, All-Star game. A few of those. Yeah, I mean, that bed is usually over here under the table, but since I've got so many of these baseball cards, you know, in the 5,000 count boxes under here, I moved the bed over there. So he would have been sleeping at my feet if this was the normal, but he's not. Is Bartolo Colon somebody to consider for the Hall of Fame? Talk about compiler. For as long as he wound up pitching. I mean, he was a great pitcher in the late 90s, right? I have a Murphy PC. I better set that aside, too. But he pitched so long. What, a card for you in my local shop? If you have it, I'll still send it for me, right? I appreciate that. I've only ever gotten like 1 or 2 gift cards. In fact, you know, one of them is sitting right here still. Got this from somebody local I met up, right? Got it right here in my Mets stuff. So a nice 1970 World Series Mets card. Somebody's nice enough to give me. Kenny, right? Was nice enough to give that over. So always like to have that type of thing. You know, I don't advertise my, what do you call, address. So if I said you something before, you got my address. But I need to get a P.O. box maybe or something like that and do that sort of thing. Arrieta, Jordani Valdez spin. I remember him. Ben Sheets as a Brave. Remember that? Man, if he didn't blow his arm out there, he was another one. Had a great first couple of years there for the Brewers. And the arm stuff just got him. Napoli, Hamill, Boone Logan, Champ. A couple seasons before he went to the Mets. Yeah, I mean, that run in 15 with him doesn't happen without Cespedes, right? And to consider that they weren't going to trade for him, right? They were going to trade for, was it Carlos Gomez? Right? And then Wilmer Flores was crying on the field and everything because they thought he was getting traded. And that trade fell through and they went up with Cespedes. And Cespedes had that amazing run. So, yeah. Ross, Allen, Barnes, Bolsinger, Chapman, still in the Reds there. Kohler, Moore, some more 07s here. Doubt we'll find is 07 when the Alex Gordon era rookie was in, or is that 06? De Jesus, Infante, Rondell White as a twin. You can only picture him in an Expos uniform. Apparently he played on several teams though. Juan Uribe also played on several teams. J1 So, Jose Reyes, early-ish in his career. It's about a third or fourth year Reyes. Yeah. Hardy, Lily, Liriano's cup card, Francisco Liriano, Casey Blake. It's nice to see these in such good shape. I'm gonna have to mention that in the when I fill out the whatever you call there, you know, the evaluation, the review, right? You can tell I'm a professor, right? Evaluation. It's that time of year for me. So, hey, I'm tenured. Course evals don't matter much anymore. Henry Rodriguez. Another Santana. I'm going to set that one aside. I don't know if I have that. Andy Pettit, record chase, 250 wins. Pettit had the steroid problem, right? He's have to be in that steroid wing somebody was creating before, right? There's like Davis as a Met. Bobby Parnell, Jim Johnson, Jason Bay, one of the worst Mets signings ever. Jason Bay. You can say that name. That's one of those things that some random person would get mad if I said that on here, right? It's like if you pronounce Rusty Kuntz's name wrong, right? When you pull that card, some of the old things. Gonzalez, Kendrick, Markakis. He had a nice little career too. Kendrick, Soriano, Salazar, Steven Drew, Jorge Posada. He was a great catcher for a while. Chacin, Upton. There's Manny Ramirez, for you Red Sox fans. Vizquel, there's Ryan Howard, MVP card. Gary Carter Stoffin's Legends of Baseball. Has a pull tab. Wow. Send me an email if you don't have my address. I'll hook you up if you give me something like that. I have nothing like that. That's really cool. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. You know, I never know this YouTube stuff, right? You know, it's really cool. I see other people I do, you know, fan mail and stuff like that have obviously a significant following. But yeah, that's really cool. I appreciate that. I'll hook you up with some if you send that to me. And I'll send something back to you. But yeah, send me an email, kappiescards@gmail.com, and we'll figure it out. Perforated. Yeah, that's whatever, right? Like, you know, somebody sent me a bunch of cards too that had bought some cards from me on Etsy, right? And had watched the channel, and you know, I wound up, I didn't want to put them into packs, right? So my daughter has a nice Mets PC that she started. It's so awesome too that she's, you know, on one hand, it's awesome, right? To me, right? She's turning into a Mets fan. She's 5.5, so she was watching them with me today, right? And you know, getting into it. She loves chanting "Let's go Mets" and stuff like that. So that's awesome on one hand, and on the back of my head, I'm going, "You are signing up for a lifetime of torture." You know, but you know, it's still it's awesome as a dad to, you know, get her into it. And she has her Squishmallow cards now. You know, that's the other side too. She wants to get into cards too. So I mean, I buy her the Squishmallow blaster boxes. No trades. Yes. All right. All right. Yes. Send me an email, and I'll send you my address. I appreciate that. I really do. Um, you know, and seriously, if you got a player you like or a team you like, I'll send you something back. Darren Oliver, Daniel Cabrera, Clevin. Yeah, I mean, being a Mets fan, we get every, 10, 15 years will pop up. That's why maybe we get a little change this year. It feels different this year. It does. Right? Just the whole vibe around the team just feels different so far. Speaking from years of pain, I know what it feels like. It's just not the same vibe to start the year. And even with a lot of the players not hitting, right? I mean, Alonso, how much money has he made this month? If he can keep it up even at like 2/3 of what he's doing now, right? He's going to get all that he wanted last year and more, right? Especially if the Mets win. You know, okay. I remember Dice K as a Met. I do not remember him as an Indian. So, new to me. More Mandela effects. Marlon Byrd for that 1 year he was a Met. Giambi is an Indian again. Clay Buchholz. Mark Reynolds was on about 8 teams, wasn't he? This is why I said this box weighs so much more just from picking it up in that football card box. Because how long have I been sitting here yapping about these cards? And we're like halfway through the box. I mean, there are a lot of cards in this box. They did a hell of a job. And they're all in great shape. You know, it's always, you buy these boxes off eBay, it's always a risk. There was Cespedes too. He just passed. Remember him as an A, of course. But it's always a risk, right? Because it takes, especially like when this was delivered, I got lucky because, you know, the stupid town I live in, right? They passed an ordinance where we can't have mailboxes anymore. We've got those group mailboxes in the neighborhood. So they put them in one of those, locker things, right? And, like they must have did it right between the rainstorms. So, I mean, I've had them before where they've dropped the box out on my front porch, which is covered, right? But not covered from a thunderstorm. Like nothing is. And I had boxes get damaged and ruined before like that. So glad this one didn't. Never know what to expect from the United States Postal Service. Are they open tomorrow? Or is that a, like Easter observed, like schools? Right, like K through 12 schools, I should say, because I have to work tomorrow. Murphy, I have to work every day. I'm a college professor. Venters. I like those lockers. I mean, these fit just right. The flat rate boxes and stuff like that, they fit on them pretty well. But it's annoying to have to walk down just to get my mail, right? So we wind up getting the mail, unless I know there's a box in there. My wife and I, we get it like, we look at each other like, have we got the mail this week? Right? Oh. Jimenez. The late Tyler Skaggs, right? We talked about Matt Harvey earlier. Yeah, I mean, I sign up for that, thing that scans all my mail, right, that you can get. So, I know what's in there. And if it's all just like junk, I'm not in a rush. And Mike Jacobs, Adrian Gonzalez, he had a nice career too. Not a Hall of Famer, but nice career. Aaron Boone, when he was still playing. Yeah, a lot of theft. I get it in a building, right? I definitely understand that in an apartment building and those sorts of condos or whatever, right? But this is we're not the ritzy suburb of Indianapolis, right? But it's not, it's not like it's bad out here or anything, crime-wise. There's crime, don't get me wrong. But there's always people popping up on, next door and stuff like that. Hey, who stole my box? So those lockers are good for that, right? There's Markakis' cup card. I don't think I've ever seen that one before. Wakefield again. Shone Figgins. Lots of nice, stars from that time period mixed in here. BJ Upton had a nice little career. How far from my front door? So it's 4 houses down. So 4 houses down on the other side of the street. So it's, you know, stop when we're driving in kind of stuff, right? And when they put these in there, it's Cespedes' cup card. Yeah, it's not too bad. Could be worse. It definitely could be, but it's still. The other thing that's annoying about it, right? Like I've got shipments to ship out tomorrow, and I have to go to the post office to do it. I don't trust them to come and pick them up. I know I could do that, but so I always have to go to the post office because I don't have a mailbox that I can just put bubble mailers in. So that's kind of annoying. But my old house, I had that, right? But when we bought this house, we lost it. First world problems, right? Kearns, Barfield, Ramirez, Stewart, Wilson, Belliard. Hey, how far down does this go? I'm going to reach down somewhere in here and just keep digging. Barajas. Rod Barajas as a Philly. Boy, I don't remember that either. Ben Sheets. He looks absolutely thrilled to be on a baseball card. Scotty Posednik. Ray Burley. Punto and Ensberg. Yeah, what's up, T? Yeah, we've been hanging out here for a little over an hour, just yapping away. Opening some cards, finding some new stuff. Ron Gardenhire is going to throw stuff at you for not being here earlier. How about a Ryan Braun rookie? Wasn't expecting that. The wrong Ryan Braun, though. David Murphy. Grady Little. Gomez. Creedy. Tavares. Furcal. Bush. Kent. Helms. Roland. PJ Ryan. Kadire. Joe Smith rookie. Okajima. Jay Marshall. Sanchez. Hansack. Barden. Some Indians. Some Marlins. Cairo. Kim. Byung-Hoon Kim. Remember him in that World Series when he was a Rocky against the Red Sox there. That one Rockies team that won like 17 games in a row or something to end the year, like 17 of 18 to backdoor their way into the World Series and then get absolutely slaughtered by the Red Sox. Ruiz, Nunez, Jansen's, Matt Stairs, all or nothing, Matt Stairs. Rich Harden, Mosley, Gagne, Shields, Willits, Ibar, Morneau again. Love your stuff. Appreciate it. Definitely appreciate that. Oh, back to 11s here. So, Taylor Teagarden, Saltalamacchia, Kemp, Rogers, Reynolds, Francisco, Contreras, McGee, Drew, Jimenez, Adam Dunn, Lee, and Brantley. I do remember Matt Stairs as an Expo. I just remember him that like massive uppercut swing. Massive uppercut. Like Pete Incaviglia uppercut. You know what I mean? Garrett Anderson, Mike Sweeney, Barnes. Matt Reynolds had that we've passed a few of his cards, right? He had a big old uppercut like that. Dave Kingman, uppercut. Andy Pettit there. Huff. There's Frenchie again. Wolf. More Morneaus. Lots of Morneaus for my packs, Twins fans. Let's see what these rookies are again. 5-1. Morrow. Victor Martinez. Paul Loduca, remember him for the Mets? If you follow Loduca, you can get some good horse race betting advice. He does a lot of that now. I don't know if it's any good. He just gets it. Hardy, Kendrick, Rodriguez, Reyes again. We've seen some of these. Zambrano, Gonzalez, Contreras, Hampson, Swisher, Cairo, Cabrera, Kim. We've seen a lot of these already. Ramon Martinez, Olson, Steve Traxel's an Oriole. Now, that one I don't remember either. I do remember the several years he was a Met, including the year they sent him down, right? And he actually went, even though he was a vet for so long. Have you found anything great yet? So the best things I found, right? I mean, we haven't found, like, in this box is just, it's been great stuff for my packs, right? It's exactly what I want for my packs, for my repacks. The great stuff is still over here from earlier. So let's go back to this. If there's anybody that's jumped in here in the last little bit, we opened a box of Heritage High Number. You can see the Goldschmidt we got here, the Bo Jackson rookie. We randomly found a rack pack in that first box. But if you know anything about these, right, this was the first thing that I pulled out of that box. And it's some random 94 Pinnacle set. They're a bit curled, but I mean, this is the reason. There's an A-Rod in here. So I've never seen these before. Never. But I'm assuming the 18 cards is the whole set. So that's probably the most interesting thing, right, that we found so far. No idea what that is. And obviously I can't stop and look it up. So, yeah, that Heritage is fun. Like I was saying, too, about that, if you're looking for it, if you've got a Walgreens near you, check it out, because they seem to have got a lot. And the Heritage box, too, if you go back and watch it, what I opened before, it was a hot box. It was all, there was a purple chrome in every pack. The bubble tops are 09? 08. Always a year off. Brigniak rookie card. Ryan Ludwig, the All-Star game. Harris, Zobrist. It's Taurus, Scott Kazmir. Another bad Mets trade. Part of a Victor Zambrano trade. Cliff Lee there. Albers. Joe Nathan. Cancel. We've been canceled 3 times. Papelbon. Ore. Lots of ore. Many, many ores. Heritage loaded a Target. Your Target's better than mine. If you go back a couple videos, the Target that I went to the other day, right, the local Target, it had a lot of those hanger packs of random stuff that I opened. But it's Tatis again, senior. Whoops. So long, Matt Ginter. Dip Wells. I don't know if I have that Santana. I'm going to set that aside. Lucky, they're hard to find here. Yeah, I mean, they've been hard to find, and that's why I was shocked when I found them. Like, at first they were hiding, like, back in the blaster boxes, right? Somebody had clearly mixed them in to hide them. But then the one I went to today, like I said, they had a dozen at least on the shelf. And I pulled clearly the right one. Like, they must have emptied a case or something on the shelf. And I got the case hit. Richardson, Sanchez, Buchholz, Santana again, Holland, Mike Lowell, Ryan, Tolles, Calaspo, yeah, Bonderman, Schaefer, Cook, Hughes. The group of people who buy everything to resell. I keep a lot of them, right? Keep my PC Mets cards, but I mean, this is just something I stumbled into, right? I mean, I do have family members who are in the, like, they go to the thrift stores and buy all this stuff and they resell and things like that, right? But, on eBay and do those kinds of things. In fact, one of them got banned from a thrift store because they were doing it so much. But at the same time, right, I stumbled into this just from having so much. Actually, I stumbled into the year before the pandemic. I was back at home. My mother was sick, so I was stuck in Maryland for a long time. I had nothing there. I'd only taken like 3 days worth of clothes even, right? And John Maine, I'm going to set aside. But so I went through my old PC. I started sorting them out. I was watching some videos on here, of course, some other channels and that type of thing. And I was just looking around at what's out there, and I just wound up putting them in team bags. I don't know why. I just did. And of course, at first, when I had made the team bags, the only thing that was in it was the stuff I had, which was junk wax stuff, and they never sold, right? Or very little sold. In fact, I sold a couple of them, like on eBay, which of course is the other mistake, was trying to sell a lot of this stuff just, in small packs on eBay. I sold them to like production companies and things like that, right? That were looking for like, we need all the Orioles cards that are just tops that you can give us, right? You know what I mean? Because they only had a license to show tops cards and stuff. So they might have been on, some random TV shows or movies or something like that. I don't know, but yeah. So then I started buying, new stuff, not only for myself during the pandemic, but I realized I could get boxes like this, and my packs were born, right? Um, I'm a collector. I have 1,600 count boxes of PC. I'm sad. Dude, if you could see, I mean, not only, those are the things that I'm shipping, right? But these drawers here are my PC stuff. So, um, the Mets and the Cowboys are in there. I keep them in page sleeves, right? These sleeves that I got here will get reused eventually for PC things. Kochman, Strope, Young, Fielder. I was that kid growing up. I mean, I openly admit it. I had all the toys, right? So I have I had a lot of stuff. Cologne, Carter, Britton, Bard, Kelly, Francoeur. I mean, that's why, if I'm going up over there, right? I mean, like I said, I had all the toys. Let's get this tripod out of the way, right? There is, my starting lineups. That's every Mets starting lineup that's ever made. Every Cowboy starting lineups ever made over there. You can see how I wasted my money on CDs and stuff, right? But just all the Mets and Cowboys memorabilia and that sort of thing. That's over here. 42 years, yeah. So I've been collecting for, I guess, 45 now. I started when I was 7, right? So it would have been about 6. 86 Tops is the first football set I collected. And I did not, so it was 6 years old, so it would be 39 years for me, I guess, right? By that math. Belliard, Woodward, Martinez, Ramirez, Marte, Patterson, Olson, Traxel, Park, Young, Euclid, Lawrence, Garza, Benson, another John Maine. You do have a John Maine collection. My favorite player, or are you asking T? My favorite player, like I said, was Gary Carter, growing up as a kid. Favorite player now, it's probably Alonzo. Anyone? Yeah, anyone can answer that. Hop in there. Rockies. I don't know how to answer that for the Cowboys right now. I guess it would be CeeDee Lamb. Maybe Micah Parsons. Anybody not named Jerry Jones? How about that? Yeah, I mean, Alonzo. Yeah, he's new, right? But no, my all-time favorite is Gary Carter, right? One of these days, I'll sit down and I'll pull out the PC, and when I'm not making packs, do anything like that, and then we'll do PC live streams or videos or that sort of thing, and I'll sit here and flip through the pages. But I need to organize them a little bit. I mentioned that before on a video. Before I go and do that, because as I get things right, I'm kind of just eyeballing, right, just to make sure I don't have, because I only keep one, right? So just make sure I don't have a lot of doubles and stuff in there. So like these John Maines I'm setting aside. I probably have a couple of them already, but more Ryan Howard's there. Owens, Socardo, Squardo, something like that. People won't like your favorite player. Was it like Papelbon, or is it Barry Bonds? Yeah. I mean, a lot of people like Barry Bonds, though. I mean, I know a lot of people hate him, too, but there's still a lot of fans of him, right? Especially if you go out to San Francisco. You'll find a lot of them. Hudson. People my age, stuff like that. I mean, I'm 45. They still remember Bonds. Even blowing up from steroids. There's Cologne again. It's about mid-career Cologne, right? Adam Dunn. Derek Lee. Wigginton. Derek Lowe. Derek Lee. We're getting towards the end of this box. Slowly. There were a lot of cards in this box. I was not expecting this many cards when I saw this box. A lot of wins. I don't mind the doubles. They will get mixed through. Wickman had a nice little career. Zach Duke. I remember having Zach Duke on fantasy teams. Armando Benitez as a Giant. That one I can't picture either. Oriole and Met. It's about all I can picture him. Cano. It's got to be early in his career, isn't it? 07? Second or third year Cano there. Cardinals. The Mets team card. I do collect the team cards as well. So I will set that aside. There's the Birds. A couple of them. Mariners. Astros. Pirates. Phillies. There's the Yankees. And Chris Carpenter. Braves. Giants. Ron Gardenhire. Pre-San Francisco Bonds, right? So still looking like a normal human being, Barry Bonds. Patterson. Torrey Hunter. Frankie Rodriguez. Santana. These are all-star game cards. Cordero. Mike Lowell. Zobrist. Is that early in his career? Yeah, it's fairly early. Prince Fielder, Ryan Howard, home run derby cards, Maglio Ordonez, Gonzalez, Markham, Gabbard, Paul Bacco, and Davies. Trevor Bauer, Judge, of course, yeah. That Judge, got that Judge relic I need to post on eBay here soon. I set those out, and then I decided to do this instead of doing some eBay stuff. Puts, Zamaya. I was not expecting to sit here for an hour and a half either. That's all right. This box blew me away with not only the quality of these, right, especially, again, from having a lot of 07s and stuff, but having good conversation here and also, just so much in here. Aubrey Huff. Got a little bit of trouble, of course, there with the cancel culture. Cole Hamels. Rondell White. Yankees fans. Sorry to hear that. Had to say that, right? Since I'm, over in Queens. McCarthy, Anderson. Yeah, I'm not really, but my team is. Ibar, Bannister, Guillen, Wilkerson, Berkman, the Jays, lots of Jays, the Marlins. Weird. Nats, Baroa, Tejada, Benson, Gary Sheffield as a Tiger. I do remember that. More team cards there. Mike Scioscia, some managers cards. Bobby Cox, Bob Melvin, Garner. How about a David Wright for me? It's about a fourth year David Wright. Yeah. Murphy, Soriano, Young, Riggins, Stokes, Humber, Owens, Arias, Human, Holiday, Fields, Snelling. Getting close here. Kappi's going to wake up before we're done. Kinsler, Zobrist. What year are these again? 09. Berkman and Lee. Zobrist. Sean Figgins. Luke Scott. Is that really the best pose for Luke Scott? Dice K again. Jermaine Dye. Los. Big Pelf. Mike Pelfrey. Montero. There's the other Ryan Braun. Bedard. It's Taurus. Kotz. let's put them there. Cook, Sweeney, that guy, Jurens, something like that, Jurens. Jackson, Hinshaw, Bruce. Jay Bruce had a cup card? I didn't know that. Giovanni Soto, cup card. Olivo, Jose Bautista. All right, we got basically these 2 rows left, and then there's a couple stray cards, and I think we'll call it a live stream. McGowan here, Reynolds, we talked about him earlier. Padilla, Vincente Padilla, Jose Guillen, Barton, Stewart, Harrison, Bueller, LaRoche, Loretta, Marlon Anderson, Boomer Wells as a Dodger. A lot of Mandela effects tonight. Again, it's that time period, at least in my life, right, in this my late 20s, and I was too busy writing a dissertation and chasing women and stuff like that, moving around the country to remember a lot of these players on random teams. And I didn't have the baseball package yet, right, at that time period. Lee, Rowan, Soriano, Posada, Morneau, Heron, Jenks, those guys. Yeah, this box is emptying too, right? I mean, it's getting there. We've been on this box for almost an hour, haven't we? Para, Brzezinski, Jimenez, Ubaldo Jimenez had a couple good years. The Pirates. See that line for the Skeens bobblehead a couple days ago? The Pirates game? I mean, the Pirates haven't had very good pub the first couple weeks of the season, right? With some of the things the owner was doing. Then they get the Skeens bobblehead, and the line was all the way across the bridge and all the way, back into the downtown area there at Pittsburgh. Folks to get in. Guess they have to give more Skeens stuff away to get people in there. It's Big Pelf again. Jacoby Ellsbury, Willingham, Lyon. That's one stadium I have not been to that I need to get to. It's not a far drive. It's about 5 hours to Pittsburgh from here. So that's one I got to look into. Cust, Millwood. We usually go down to Reds games, right? The Reds are a little less than 2 hours from where we live, just under 2 hours. So we go down and see the Reds and the Mets play. And I think they play late this year. Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Maybe I'll try to do more live streams so we can hang out, stuff like this. Everybody else in the house is asleep, even Kappi. So, stuff like this usually most nights when I'm sitting here doing these things, I've got the Mets game on. So when they're not on, this late, I can do things like this. Just can't make them regular. That would be the difficult part. Jonathan Neese, I can't do a series or anything like that. Like I know a lot of channels do. Jenkins, Frenchie again, Crawford again, Drew. Ellie's, yeah, Ellie's a hell of a player. He's definitely something different, something special. I've got him on my fantasy team this year. I guess was he my top pick or my second pick, something like that. But yeah. I also went to Three Rivers. The first baseball game I ever went to, I went to Three Rivers. Saw the Pirates and Mets play in '88. Right, so that was the only time I ever went to Three Rivers. Used to go to the Vet a lot in college, right? You could get in the Vet in Philly, for games because the Phillies were terrible and the Mets pretty bad too, of course. Well, the Mets were all right in the late 90s, in the early 2000s. But as they got into 2003 and 4, they weren't. But you could sit anywhere in the upper deck in the Vet for $5 to $8, right? Depending on the night and the game. And it was just like a general admission ticket, right? So you could just sit wherever in the upper deck. So we did that a lot in college, especially after I was 21, we could drink, right? And just go and get hammered, watch the Phillies play whoever. And but of course, I was always up for the Mets. I rode the train up a couple times to Shea. But, yeah. The vet was something unique, right? I mean, it was a DUMP dump. But yeah, I'd sit there and get Yingling and stuff like that, super cheap, and yeah. Or all the Bud Light and Miller Light that we could drink some nights, right? And stupidly drive back, right? I don't know who I just dropped there, but I did. Oh, Iglesias, Eric Young, Bautista again, Darren O'Day, Liriano, Alvarez, Pryor, Chapman, Morrow, Avilion, Rondon, Green, Inge, Sogard. Remember doing that for like Phillies games and stuff where you could get in super cheap like that. But if you wanted to see the Flyers play, it was expensive, right? I mean, you had to pay to get into Flyers games. But I never tried to get into Sixers games because I wasn't into basketball. But there's the actual Ryan Braun rookie card, the one I was joking about earlier. We find the real one. So Ryan Braun rookie card, all the way through this box. Then we get an infamous YouTuber behind him who doesn't do a lot of YouTube anymore. His rookie card, Phil Hughes. So Ryan Braun and Phil Hughes rookies. We'll set them over there with the hit pile that we'll go back to in a minute. There's Mark Reynolds' rookie. Randomly, a couple of them, 3 of them. There's Phil Hughes again. And Ryan Braun again. All right, sure. Josh Hamilton, is he still in jail, I think? Ibar, Kochman, Mabin, Jackson, Randy Wynn. Oh, that's cool. Born and raised in Buffalo. So, yeah, my in-laws have a brewery, microbrewery in Buffalo. If you ever go back there, Big Ditch Brewery. That's my brother-in-law. Paul Bird, Julio Franco, Vidro, Tigers, D-backs, Royals, Twins, Dodgers. Down the field where Jackie Robinson played up here, we have a tiny park dedicated to him in a small part of town. So where'd Robinson play up there? I don't remember that. Yeah. Washington, Perlazo. So back to the manager's cards. Wedge, Bell, Yost, Willie Randolph, Casilla Salas. Oh, Montreal. Duh. Right? Talk about that. I'm getting tired. Saltalamacchia, Julio Franco again. Bedard, Sledgehammer, Gorzolani, Nady. So you know Big Ditch, huh? Yeah, that is my brother-in-law. He's the manager / part owner, I guess, or whatever. Yeah. Matt Kahn is his name. So if you ever go in there, tell him I sent you. Actually, I wouldn't, right? Tell him that his sister's husband sent you. Maybe that would be better. That's funny. It's that damn small world. It's like the other day when somebody was in the comments to a video, and they were in Delaware the same time I was, and in fact, they knew my party house at Delaware. I mean, it's just so random, this YouTube stuff. I've sent cards too, right? Somebody's bought Etsy cards too that I went to high school with them, right? They were I recognize the name. It's not like I didn't run in their circle, they didn't run in mine, right? But I recognize the name, so I wrote a note in there as like Linganore, right? Hi, and all this stuff like that. It's so weird. But yeah, I mean, go in there. Their beer's not bad. I'm not a big IPA guy, so if you like IPAs, he makes a lot of them. But they did a Christmas time. They did like an apple porter beer that was really good. So yeah, if you like IPAs though, they do a lot of IPA. Don't all microbrews do that though? What IPA? I mean, like I said, I'm not a big. I like beer that I can't see my hand through the beer. Right? I'm that snob. So I like them dark. I'm not an IPA guy. DeWitt, Vasquez. I mean, if you give it to me, I'll drink it. But I mean, it's Free mud, yeah. I mean, yeah, even around here, right? You go into these microbrews and stuff in this area, right? And it's all that. I'm like, can I get the one beer that isn't an IPA, please? Whatever it is, just give me that. Palmer, Kadir. We have some good ones around here in Indy. Like Sun King, right, is sort of the local microbrew that's kind of exploded a little bit out of Indy. But sober for 2 years. I'm sorry about that. Maybe we shouldn't be talking about alcohol, but yeah, I did the thing. I'm trying to do the thing now with sugars. To kind of bring us back full circle to earlier, right, and talking about Easter candy. Right, I'm trying to do what I did with booze years ago with alcohol, or with sugar, where I just because I was a lush, right? I mean, I drank in college. It was a better chance to find me drunk than sober. You know what I mean? And yeah, so it just got to the point where I was like, I need to stop, right? I need to, but I do enjoy beer, and I just said, okay, if I'm going to do it, moderation, right? And the hardest places are like when I'm golfing with friends and that kind of thing. And Brian's right there. Congrats on 2 years, because I mean, I know how hard it is, right? And I never got to that level where I actually quit. So, I have a lot of respect for being able to do that. And it's just moderation, and it's willpower. And if you can't sit there and just say I'm stopping now, then you can't do it. You got to just stop completely. And yeah, one pint and I'm tipsy. You're my wife. Rodney, Brian Roberts, the Roche. I love my wife. I shouldn't joke about her. What the hell? I joke about her all the time. Santana, Morneau, and Brandon Webb, and that is the box. Right, that took a long time to get through all those, but we're having fun. So, yeah. What the hell? Let's grab a couple packs here just to kind of wrap it up. Let's get a variety here. A little old school variety. We got 88 tops already in that pile here, one of these boxes that we over there in the pile. So let's just not open too many of these. Let's just open one of these, because the gum's going to be, I am not chewing that gum. Yuck. That card's destroyed. Smell the box. I already threw the box away. It's even if I did right now, I mean, I'm getting over a little cold anyway, right? So, I mean, I can't even smell anything on these. So it smells like dust. Thanks. So, Tewksbury, Andre Dawson's card there, Trammell, Honeycutt, Zane Smith, Jose Leaned, right? Darwin, Steve Sachs, Henke, and Dotson. Let's open a 88 Donruss. Can we get a Tom Glavine rookie? So we're looking through at 88s, right? The Stan Musial puzzle piece there that I dropped on the floor. Schiraldi, Wally Joyner, Steve Howe, Tanana, Flannery, Freddie McGriff, Bedrosian, Mike Devereaux. Is that his rookie? Yeah, Devereaux rookie card. Van Slyke, Fitzgerald, Langston, Lake, Bradley, Forsh, Davis. Surprised we didn't get any 88 Donruss in that. We got 89, right? Plenty of that, but not 88. Yeah, really solid players. Let's see what's in here. I'm into details. My friends freak out when those kind of details. Yeah. Now there's a force in football in college. Really? I'll take your word for it. Where's the stupid little thing? There it is. What do we get here? Hey, we were talking about the vet, right? Great moments in baseball at Veterans Stadium. Steve sets save record. So is that Steve Bedrosian. George Brett on the cover here. Pete O'Brien, Lee Smith. So we get two of the first three cards are Hall of Famers. King Caminiti, Minton, Darwin, Brower, DeSenses, Cox, Keaton, Jeltz, Ayasi, Howell, Terrell, Dravecki, Acker, and Marzano. So Yeah, the score, you gotta like you gotta be into color to like score, right? You know, that 88 and all those scores. The worst one was like 92 score or something where they went teal and everything. They were pretty bad. Um, but yeah. So unless we want to open more of that, I'm out of stuff to open. I'll grab one more here and then we'll call it a video. So thanks for hanging out. I hope, like I said, everybody had you know, fun not only sitting here watching this. Maybe we'll do it more if we like these sorts of things. We'll try to fit it in when we can. Otherwise, you know, wish Kappi would hang out with us more. He hung out with us for a while, but went over there and fell asleep, and he is still passed out over there. Maybe we'll say goodbye to him before we leave here. Brunansky, Bo Diaz, Gagne, Salas. We got all our stars clearly in that other pack that I opened. Mookie Wilson is maybe the best player so far. Cerrone, Hume, Leaned, and Guillen. What a dud pack. We can't end on that. Yeah, do it again? Yeah, all right. Very fun and great subs. All right, yeah, I hope, you know. I think the other thing I was going to talk about, and I never did, right? I'm going to do another giveaway. I think at 2,000, we'll do another giveaway for subscribers. Fenway Park that time. So, Mike Boddicker, Ashby, Bo Diaz again. Do we get the same? Damn. Okay, well, not completely. Santana, Mailer, Haven. Really? Really? Sean Abner, Roberto Kelly. I thought we would get the Alomar. We got Kelly. All right, well, we got to call it here. So let's walk back over here first. Let's look at the stuff we pulled over an hour ago, right? Just to kind of refresh everything. And let me zoom it in a little bit more. There we go. So you can see, of course, the best cards we got. These two holiday cards are nice. We got the hot box purples, right, over a while ago. If you go watch back, nothing wrong with the Vladdy Guerrero in green. The Goldschmidt little napkin relic out of that box too. Here's Skeens' rookie with Wyatt Langford as well. And of course, the Bo Jackson out of that random rack pack that was in the big box that had all of this stuff in it. And this box was in there along with, I just gotta take this off the tripod, along with the, you know, pages here. There's a sneak peek at the cards I said I'd already sorted. So that's why I also mentioned, right, the baseball is going to be made next. That's what I'm going to do this week after everything when I'm done. So we'll get those baseball out. We'll do the other things along that lines as well. So Kappi and I have something, right, buddy? Yeah. You're awake over here? It's your bed, nobody else's, right? Yeah. All right. Well, thanks again, everybody, for hanging out with us. And we'll do this again. We'll do it again some way. If it's making packs next or open some things or something like that, maybe one of these retail rips I'll do live instead of a videotape. We'll see. So appreciate it. Hope everybody had a great Easter, and we'll talk to you again very soon. Right, buddy? All right. See y'all later.